I want to thank everybody for attending this hands-on workshop, Intro to PostgreSQL. Our speaker today is Chaula Jain from Mecklenburg County GIS. Today, we will have this session running from 10 to 11:15. And at the close of today, we will give away, well, at the close of all the sessions, we will give away cool prizes, but you have to be on the session or be online to get them. So Chaula Jain has been working with GIS DBA for the last 15 years and has experience managing both SQL Server and Postgres database servers. She's a database architect, GIS DBA role for Mecklenburg County GIS. She completed her Master's of Science from the University of Florida, where her thesis work was on GIS application to help preserve the historic districts of St. Augustine. She has presented at several conferences on various GIS topics. Now, we encourage you to enter your questions in the chat box, and they will be answered either during this session or at the end of the session. Now, for everybody who needs continuing education credit, you need to please make sure your name is correct on your Zoom login. Now, we also want you to make sure that you go to the NC ARC Users Group webpage under the fundraisers page to see if you want to buy any merchandise. All the proceeds will go to the scholarship fund. And also to remind you that all sessions will be recorded and put on the NC ARC Users Group YouTube page, where they can take probably up to 2 weeks after the conference to get them all posted. So here's Chaula.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So thank you all for attending today morning. The main reason for doing this 1-hour workshop was that since it's virtual, I thought I'm just going to give you a basic introduction to PostgreSQL. And I hope you all have a laptop, because we are going to start with installing Postgres and going all the way to creating simple databases, loading data, and backup and restore. Hoping we can finish all that in 1 hour, 5 minutes. Why Postgres? In 2012 was when Mecklenburg County decided, I work for Mecklenburg County, and we decided to move from SQL Server to Postgres for all our GIS needs. And at that time, I remember attending the ESRI user conference at San Diego, and I was the one of 6 people there, who was doing this. And I think now there are so many people, even to get tech support in those years was so difficult. And we took this step, and we are so glad we did it. It's so cost efficient. It's so much quicker, and our app team loves it because they develop so many apps with this. And recently we have moved from STE to PostGIS completely. But in this session, I'm going to work with both STE geometry type and PostGIS geometry type. So let's go ahead. Let's go to the next slide, where I'm going to point you to the website where you can download Postgres. So if you click on this second link, actually the first or the second, they both take you basically to the same thing. You click on the second one, and you will go to this page. So let me know when you all are with me, and I'm happy to be interrupted, even if you want to unmute and talk. So if you can go to this page, and if you are on, hopefully I'm going to work with only Windows today. So on a Windows computer, and download this screen, which says 11.13. We're going to go with that because
We don't have the link. Can you post that in the chat, the link?
okay.
perfect. And it looks like Bradley sent that link in.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, Bradley, thank you.
We're fine now.
Okay. So can you all download it? It should show up like this in your downloads and double click it. Is everybody on a Windows computer? Mostly? Is anybody on a Mac? Because in that case, I'm not sure what to say because I haven't worked with a Mac.
Yeah, it looks like you're getting thumbs ups and yeses to Windows.
Yeah, I seem to. Yeah. So once everybody's installed, I need some thumbs ups again. I'm looking at the chat window. You should be at this screen when you double click that exe file. So the reason not using 13.4 is that it is not compatible with many versions of ArcGIS. So that's why I chose 11.13. I've had a lot of issues actually in the last few months upgrading. I upgraded to 12.4. It works if you have PostGIS, doesn't work if you are using ST geometry very well. And if you're trying to especially edit, like those who are doing version editing. So the safest one right now is to go with 11.13. We are always 2 versions behind if you want to use for our ArcGIS. You want to use it with ArcGIS. If you're just using Postgres alone, that's a totally different, you can do a lot, just Postgres, PostGIS, but this is with the Esri software. So go with 11.13 because I think it works with 10.8.1 and Pro. And you can do everything. And that's what is recommended on Esri's website. Is everybody ready? Okay, so let's run through the install. So you would click next. If you want, I can, and you should be able to install it like completely. Just go next, next, next. You have to put your password in for Postgres. So whatever you're allowed, either you need 6 digits, numbers on your computer, put the Postgres password, remember the password, and go ahead. Or I think I should run it through with you guys. Do you see my screen when I'm running it?
Yes, we can see you double click on that file. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Is everybody good with running it? Then I won't run it because that, it's kind of slow with this. So yeah, and I'm messing me up. Yes, keep the default port to 5432. If you have more than one install of Postgres, you can go with different port numbers. So how many people, I should wait for everybody, default, yeah, to 5432, default locale. me see if I can run this. Screen. I think you all are good, right? There shouldn't be any issues now. Just go with all the default options and it'll create a, you can uninstall it later on once you're done. So. Catherine, you see my slide, right?
Yes.
Okay. No, do not launch Stack Builder right now. Just get out of Stack Builder. We're just doing basic. We could get back to Stack Builder later, but if do not launch Stack Builder right now, because I don't know whether we'll be able to get through everything. So once you're all done, oh, okay, somebody's still installing. I'll give you one more minute. If everybody's done, we can move to the next slide. Okay. So but then go ahead and click on this icon, which should be maybe in your taskbar, or you may have to go to programs, go to Postgres and launch PG admin. Let's go. Yeah, you should be able to launch PG admin. Let me share my screen and show you that. So if you go into this, and you should see Postgres PG admin like that, or it should be under the Postgres. You should see something like this, like an elephant head. You may want to make a shortcut to your taskbar, like over here, or you can just copy it here. And then double click on it and start PG admin. Once you've started PG admin, let me know. So once you're in PG admin, you see my screen. I have it like sort of recorded. So I'm going to talk as I play this. So you go to click on servers on that arrow. This is going on. Start PG admin. Go to servers. Go click on Postgres. It should say 11. Go to databases. And you should have a database called Postgres already there. Create a new database here. So you would call it GIS. And then go to definition and just pick all the defaults and click save. So now you should have a database here called GIS. Okay, so it's asking your password. Put the password you used when you installed it, whatever password you created. That's your PostgreSQL password. So have you all got a database created, or should I run this again? Yeah, it might ask you twice for a password. I'm sorry, this is not the most efficient way of teaching this. I mean, so I'm running it again, watch it. So you click on Postgres, it should say 11 for you all. Create new database. Okay, so I'm going to share my Postgres screen just to see if that helps you all. So once I start PG admin, put your password in. Do you all see my PG admin? Okay, go to servers. I have Postgres 12 here, so yours should say 11. Click on that arrow, go to databases and say create database. And then you put in GIS or whatever name you want to. I'll say test, and definition is all same, and just say save. Is everybody there now with me? Okay. I'm going to go back to my Postgres PowerPoint. Okay, so we are here, and I'm going to move to the next slide. So this is to create the ST user and the reader user. So I'm going to go with an ST user here. It's like an SA user for all those who are using ArcGIS and STE. You don't need to necessarily have an ST user. You can have any system administrator name. But just to make it simple for those of you coming from ArcGIS background, let's have an SDE user and who has full rights, and then there'll be a reader who will just have the read rights. So I'm going to play this, or if you want, I can just run this through when we play it once, and then I will run it through, or I can go with you guys on that after that. So let me run it through. So you go to logins, create a new login, type in SDE, put in a password, in privileges, give it like everything, yes, super user, everything except the last one, say save, and then create a reader, call it whatever, reader or GIS reader or whatever you all want. Put the password in, and in privileges, just give it the can login and save. So are you all there with me? Okay, PG admin loading slowly. I am not sure, maybe it's a computer issue. I won't be able to handle that. So everybody's created a login, right? SDE. Okay, I'm rerunning it for you guys. Go to logins, create login, type in SDE. That's a reader account, which just gives you usage rights. And just do can login, save. And that's it. So now next week, are we all good? Can we move to the next slide? We're going to create schemas within our GIS database. So next is to create a schema. In the GIS database, you'll have to create a SD schema and a reader schema. So your data will be in the SD schema if you want it that way. You can create more users, more schemas. If you want only one user to have all rights, we have some databases like that. But for now, we're just going to have SD schema here, where all the data will be loaded, and then we'll create a reader schema which will have rights to the SD schema. So here I go, I'm going to play this. So you go to schemas under GIS, say new schema, put SDE, and ownership will be SDE. In security, you click on that add button and pick SDE, and it should have all rights, all privileges. And then you pick the reader and give it only the usage rights. Okay, and save. Then you go back and also do the same thing for the reader schema if you want. But if you're just going to log in as SD, I hope you all remember your SD passwords and your reader passwords, whatever you put in. If you don't, you may have to change it. So because next we're going to, when we load data in our GIS, we'll need that. We need those passwords. So same way we can create a reader schema if you want. So you go to schema, create. Yeah, I'm going to replay it again. And in the same way, you can even create a reader schema. Instead of typing SD, you can type reader. Okay. Are you all good? Need to move ahead? Okay. So the next is, if any of you are interested in making it compatible with PostGIS, we'll have to run this step so that you can load data in SD geometry or PostGIS geometry. And that's what we do for many of our databases. Yeah, if you want, you should create a reader schema, because sometimes for editing and all, you need a reader schema. But just for this class, you don't need to. So let's go to, we're going to create a PostGIS extension on this database so we can load data in PostGIS or SD format. Okay. Okay, what I want you all to do is, one second, I'll have to, I'll share my screen and run this with you. Just hold on. Okay, go to the tools, go to query. And over here, or you can go here in extension and say create extension. Okay, let's skip this step for now because we didn't do stack builder. So I'll get back to it later on. So let's go to the next slide. And here, this is very important for you to make it work in Postgres with ArcGIS. You need to copy this file. Like, do you see? You need to go to your, do you all have ArcGIS on your desktop? And whatever version of ArcGIS you have, like go to C program files x86, desktop, whatever version, database support, Postgres 11, go to Postgres 11, Windows 64. Are you there? Do you see this? Yeah, I'm there, sorry. So you go to C program files, ArcGIS, desktop, whichever version, database support, Postgres 10, Windows 64, SD geometry DLL, and copy that to C program files, Postgres 11/live. Are you all there? Once you need to copy that to make it. Yeah, it should work with ArcGIS Pro. But you'll have to do this step. But my slides are only with ArcGIS 10.7. Okay. Let me see what the path is for that. I think in Pro, you don't need to copy it. You can try it without copying. Yeah, I think in Pro, you don't need to copy it. That's what my impression is. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. I don't think you need to copy with Pro. So let's go with, I think it should work with Pro anyway. I haven't done this with Pro. Anybody? Okay. Is it, how many people are with Pro? Are there just 2 people? You don't have ArcGIS 10.8.1? Oh, that's only for Oracle. Did you find one for Postgres?
And team, just wanted to make sure you knew if you want to unmute, you can. You can just go in the bottom left-hand corner. Should you want to speak verbally about anything, you can also continue to use the chat, whatever's best today.
Okay. Okay, let's see if it works for you guys. Let's go to the next slide. And okay, if you are in ArcGIS, you will need to, I'm going to go run how you enable the geodatabase. I'm going to do that for you with ArcGIS. So let's go to, second, I'm going to start it. Hold on. Okay, so if you're in Arc Catalog, start at Arc Catalog, go into any, go into your connection, which you should be able to see. You should be able to add database connection, go to Postgres, whatever your name of your computer is over here, and the SD username and password. And the database name will be GIS, okay? Once you're in, let me know. This is only for ArcGIS, not Pro. It's only for ArcGIS desktop. And then when you go, you need to go to this where you do So when you click on this, you should be able to see, like in this one, I see this enable geodatabase. You should be able to click on that. Do you get that, everybody? Okay, let's start a new one. Do you see this add database connection? Instance is the name of your computer, whatever the name of the computer is, where you installed it. So, okay. Are you all there, or I don't know how to run this now because of you are on. Okay, here is the enable. Once you go there, you should be able to see enable geodatabase properties. And it should come up. A little dialog box should come up. Are you all seeing my screen? And you go, the connection file will be here. And when you open this, you should be able to go to your key code file. You should have a key code from Esri. Now I won't be able to tell you where your key code is. For the ArcGIS software. Yeah, I have these instructions in a guide format and I will send it to you all. That shouldn't matter. We are just enabling the geodatabase, and that should not be an issue. You need to get this authorization file. I don't have it here, so I don't know how I can show you. You should have it, or you have to get it from your, well, anyway, you need this. I'll send these instructions to you all. And once you do that, you should be able to load data in. So the next step would be, so if you are loading data in, you would say new feature class, and you would be able to bring in, you would be able to create new feature class either as PG geometry or PG geography, which is STE. So you can pick what you want. And that's if you want to create a new feature class. If you want to import feature classes, like you would do import a feature class, and then you would bring it in from either a shape file, or you would bring it in from a different database server. So I'm just going to bring it in from one of my servers here. Like I'll say, this is a bus stop file we have. And I'll say, just bring it in as a bus stop. And you say, okay, I mean, you all know that. So now it's a database in Postgres, and you're bringing in a file in, I brought it in as PostGIS, but you could pick PG geography and bring it in as an STE file. So I am going to go back to my slideshow. Do you all see the slides now? So we already went through these steps. Like where you see, this is the key code file like this. I hope you all did that. And then you go next. And you can load feature classes like this. I went through that with you. You could load it as PG geography because we haven't installed PostGIS yet. So mostly yours will be only PG geography. And then we go next, and this is the backup and the the backing up of the data. So you would, I'll run this for you all. So you would go to create backup and pick your folder where you want it. Name the file and save it. And then you say backup. So your backup would be created like that. You could also use an automated script. I'll send this all to you. This is like a Python script which can be scheduled through Task Manager. So you can back up different databases like this. So you could back up your GIS and test or whatever database you created. Next is restoring this data. Now, if you all want, I could now run Stack Builder with you all, because I think that may be good. So let's go to Stack Builder. All of you can go to start Stack Builder from
Susie calling with the vehicle service.
okay. Go to Postgres, start Stack Builder. take the default one, which is on 5432, go to next. And then over here, you go to spatial extensions and install PostGIS. I think you should be able to see only 2.5 or 2.6. So click one of them. Click the lower one, the lower number, and click next, and then click next. And you should be able to install it. And say, I agree. And you can create a new spatial database, or, just say next. And next, and it should be able to install for you. Just say yes. Just say yes for everything. And your installation should be completed. So if you created a new database, you can use that database to load PostGIS data in. But if you want to now use PostGIS data in your the one you have already created, the GIS database, you would need to create an extension. So you go into your database and you can say, create Postgres extension. And you could type in here or pick PostGIS here and then save in that database. So go into GIS and then, or whatever data you all created. Whatever database rather you created, go into that, open it, go into, click on extensions, open that, then go on create extension. And then over here, you would create, click PostGIS, which is here. And then save. So now you can save load data as post PG geometry also. So, or you could do it this way, where you open the query window over here, like you open the query window, sorry. And you can put create extension PostGIS. So are you all there with me? Is everybody there? At this point, anybody has any questions instead of going further? Hello? Okay. All right. So should we go ahead? Because now I'm coming to the restoring the database part. So I don't know whether we ran the Postgis. So we created a database, we created the user, we created a schema, we enabled the Geodatabase in our GIS, and I showed you how to restore a database. Now, backup a database, and I'm about to show you how to restore it. Are you all good with me showing you that? Okay. So if you want to restore a database, you have to delete the existing database, recreate a new one by the same name, run the PostGIS extension like how I did before, like create extension. Now you can do that in 11.4, or you can run it with a command line saying create extension PostGIS. And then you can run the restore command from Postgres. Like if you go to that database and you right click, you'll see the option to restore. And then so here I'm running through the thing. So if it is being used, a database, and if you're trying to drop it, you may have to stop the Postgres services. And then you create a new one, name it the same way. And you'll have to create your schema too. And then you pick your file to create the extension to PostGIS. Or you could do it the way I had shown you by clicking on the extension. You can, yeah, you can do it this way. This is the easiest way to do it. And then you click on restore, pick that file you created. And then run restore. So this is all much simplified in these newer versions of Postgres. Earlier, we had to run it through the PSQL commands. So there are one or two things in the install, which I think I should have mentioned it. I don't know, I sort of forgot. So let me go back to those slides. I got little. So there are 2-3 things I want to mention to you guys. So when you first install Postgres, to get it working with different clients, you would need to, I'm going to start and share a new screen with you guys. So you would need to do 2 things. One is you go into the Postgres library, like you go into program files. Can you all see the screen? You go into program files, go into Postgres, and go into the data folder. And then you pick this file which says PGHBA. And I'll send this in notes because this is very important actually. And then over here, this is what you will see some default file, but this part needs to be copied over to your default file. And I'll send this all over. I'm sorry, because in a virtual session, it's kind of hard. You need to copy this to your default file. It won't have this. So if you don't have these connection parameters, you won't be able to connect through ArcGIS or ArcGIS Pro. So you have to save this, just copy, paste, and save it. Save the file. Other thing you need to do is go into your Postgres configuration file, which is this. Open with WordPad or Notepad, whatever you're using. The default connections are always 100. If you want more, you should increase it here to 400, 500, depending on your organization. Close it, save it, then go into the services. This is the services or the settings. Go into services. After you save both those files, go find Postgres here, stop it and restart it so that the new changes which you made are done. So after the install, you need to do this. And after that, you go to the next few steps. So I'm going to like halt it here. If anybody has any questions. So this is where the Postgres data files are, just in case you all want to see it in my slides. And this is the change you make. This is what you will see it as in the default. And you would change it to what I showed you. I mean, I'll have to send that to you. This is the Postgres config file where you would make the connections. The connections are here. You would increase it from 100 to whatever you need to. And this is if you want to work with PSQL on command prompt, you would have to go to your settings, system settings and advanced system settings and change your environmental variable and add the Postgres path here. So you would add this file which you see at the bottom, which says C program files Postgres 11. And in that way, you would be able to run PSQL in a command prompt environment like PSQL -u Postgres. Now here, the user is Postgres, or you can have your user as STE, whatever. But if you want to not enter the password every time, you may have to change your password. You will have to do this, which is the next slide, where you go into this this folder in your user directory, app data roaming Postgres, open the PG-pass file, and it would look like this on the screen, and you would put your password in here. So you would use this file. I'm going to send all these because these are a lot of notes. And this is, of course, I went through Stack Builder with you all. And that's the end. If you all have any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much. Fabulous. Feel free to submit any questions in the chat, and then we will be providing this recording to the overall conference. You can go back and watch it and go step by step to everyone. Wonderful. And just for attendance purposes, I am going to go ahead and just launch a poll, and it's just to capture your attendance here today. Perfect. All right. Great. Well, Chaula, thank you so much for this walkthrough. I know all of us learned so much today. And if we do have any follow-up questions that come in from the team, we'll send those your way as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for some confusion here because of the way it's going. And I think with Zoom, I was not able to share some screens very easily. Between toggling between different screens, remote screens, I mean, remote desktop was not working very well. So,
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
so yeah, this is a learning experience for me too. And hopefully next time I can do this in person and it will be more useful.
Yeah, well, you did great. I think we saw pretty much everything. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but if it's in person, you can go from, person to person helping.
And
So,
check. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
so.
Well, thanks
Okay.
everyone so much. I don't see any questions. So at this point, I'll go ahead and wrap this session, give you all a little bit of a break between the next session. We'll see you in upcoming sessions. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.